Hello, this is Kumar back in this channel at Sai Mati GM. Good day to all. Today I'm going to be really talking about digital transformation in the banking and financial services sector. To be more precise, a topic of interest globally, driving digital transformation in small development banks, small finance banks, and emerging financial institutions. Go on, listen in, and also share your thoughts. To respond and reach a wider pool of customers, market position, and acceptance, development banks and emerging financial institutions need a focused digital transformation initiative. Small finance and development banks have an operating model that was designed to support their work with large counterparts. Major public institutions, corporations, and financial intermediaries, while remaining purposely distanced from many end beneficiaries such as small and medium sized enterprises or so called SMEs, this model has now become an impediment, resulting in significantly lengthier and more burdensome process to secure funding for projects and expansion. Meanwhile, development banks have had to expand their array of services to address emerging needs, including engaging directly with end customers and providing urgent support for pandemic or climate related actions. Many of these projects are smaller and more fragmented, thus raising the administrative burden. As a result, these institutions have found their existing IT capabilities particularly inadequate to support their operations. A digital transformation is now more urgent than ever. I'm going to be talking about some of the key bullet points of what calls for digital transformation within small finance and development banks. Internal constraints on digital transformations. Development banks or emerging financial institutions have generally attempted to follow the lead of retail and corporate banking when it comes to integrating digital technologies into their operations. However, the peculiarities of their operating model pose significant challenges to such ambitions. Direct end consumer interactions. Most development banks have yet to establish the processes, operations, and channels needed to directly interact with a wider pool of end customers. Only few small banks currently have some form of customer platform. These institutions represent a relatively small market, so off the shelf software solutions are often not readily available. The existing systems at most small banks are slow, outdated, drowning in legacy architecture, and incapable of supporting a real true go-to-market revolution. Significant increase in the volume and complexity of requests. Typically, the processes in a small finance or development bank's back office are not standardized or set up to scale easily. An internal request for a new product might take several months, and any deviation from the standard parameters is often handled with manual work and spreadsheets. Most institutions have not invested in building the capabilities and workforce required to upgrade their solution. Outsourcing isn't a viable option because software vendors lack the knowledge and understanding of small development banks to produce targeted solutions. Yet, a majority of small banks outsource their IT competencies. Cost pressures. For the past couple of decades, the position of emerging financial institutions and development banks has been eroded by ultra low interest rates globally that has placed institutions and their IT functions under increased pressure to cut costs or to cover more ground with the same budget. Migrating to the cloud could reduce IT costs over the long term, but currently there are not many banks that use cloud capabilities. Reduction in bureaucracy. Governments, intermediary as customers, direct customers, and the public all expect these banks to be more innovative and modern in their operation. Calls for more digital operations can be perceived as a desire for less bureaucracy. Potential technology solutions. I'm going to be talking a little bit about potential transformative solutions for small finance and emerging financial institutions and development banks. Addressing this situation, looking at a holistic transformation initiative for emerging financial institutions and development banks. This really requires a massive revamp in three core areas. Setting up digital channels for end customers to support emerging needs. These channels would enable direct lending while allowing banks to flexibly change channels and their front ends to fulfill specific requests. Standardize and professionalize processes, specifically in the back office, through increased automation in the workflow. These actions could sustain much higher levels of throughput and facilitate the scaling of current activities. Scale and revamp the current IT department with a focus on improving and expanding the internal engineering teams. Software providers and external support alone cannot solve the unique challenges of small finance, emerging financial institutions, or development banks. Development banks must become relevant as employers of technology talent and shift the IT department's role from that of a service provider to a co-shaper of digital agenda, enabling banks to make relevant decisions and design technology solutions tailored to the challenges at hand, can translate ideas into concrete actions and market viability. Digital transformation. Change beyond technology alone. While we say digital transformation is not all about technology, it's all about a paradigm mind shift. The typical structure of a small and development banks or emerging financial institutions, multi-government ownerships, and one that is high risk averse to maintain a low level of defaults. This is a barrier to these necessary changes that cannot be easily overcome with a typical business as usual approach. Instead, banks must establish a dedicated programmatic task force to manage cultural and organizational change. Several elements are required as part of such an approach. Let me talk about some of these changes, some of these elements as part of this holistic transformative approach. Support at leadership levels. Typically, the first step in a digital transformation is to achieve a mutual understanding among board members and executive management and leadership about the transformation and the support required to achieve lasting change at scale. Leadership must understand that the digital transformation is much broader than just a technology initiative. For the transformation to be successful, leadership should own it and the board should fully support it. Board members should encourage leadership to question existing processes and controls. Decoupling from legacy. The pursuit of partial greenfield solutions or the creation of a standalone digital bank would open the possibility for a truly rapid transformation. With differentiated digital solutions, a development bank can act as an intermediary with the unique guarantees only it can provide for lenders and investors interested in the respective customer segments, for example, SMEs. Solutions can take the shape of a digital platform connecting demand and supply with the added benefit of generating and monetizing data for areas with limited transparency, such as the demands of SMEs by country or region. There is also the opportunity for the co creation of digital solutions with other development banks considering their non competitive mandates. Collaboration could extend to a shared, high quality talent pool for digital projects. Dedicated program to drive digital. The technology and business teams must be able to devote necessary time to the change initiative. A dedicated transformation team is needed to track progress not only on technology initiative but also on cultural and process change. Importantly, banks also need to replace a siloed approach with a truly enterprise wide program. It has been clearly established and demonstrated that development banks, small finance banks, and emerging financial institutions that have undergone a digital transformation are perceived far more favorably by their governing bodies and beneficiaries. They also have managed to significantly increase their business while more traditional development banks receive more scrutiny regarding their role, capacity, and effectiveness. I have just talked about a transformative approach to small finance bank, development banks, and emerging financial institutions and the state of affairs. Please let me know your thoughts, views on what is happening in the financial services industry, transformative approaches in the banking sectors. To be more specific, what kind of digital transformation and technology changes are happening in development banks and emerging financial institutions. Thank you for listening into this talk. Thank you very much. Good day.